Hello, welcome back to another episode of Somewhere Between a Film and TV podcast. We are your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
I'm Erwin Trejo.
And number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. Number two, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
If you guys didn't know, this is our 100th episode. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's so much.
It's a lot.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Venom, for
Venom.
Starting us off. And then Madam Web.
Venom gave us our resurgence.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then,
what is that? Independence Day, resurgence.
And then Madam Web made
Resurgence.
us again. Isn't that weird? It's been the Sony movies of all things.
Oh, I didn't see Madam Web.
But speaking of...
I mean,
them,
I did. And I saw
no,
the
you
GIF.
didn't.
Okay.
The guy from this is in Kraven the Hunter,
Yes.
Christopher Abbott. But with this movie...
I kind of look like him, right?
With the beard and the hair, I can see it, right?
So what every man has, a beard or a hair.
That's true. A beard or a hair. Erwin, everything we review will always have full spoilers.
Why?
Because we
I saw the movies.
Yeah, because we don't know how to review
why?
things without spoilers. But I gotta ask you a question. First movie of the year.
Yes.
What did you think of it? But don't answer that. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere between?
I'm somewhere between.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Positive or negative?
Positive, I guess. I would say positive.
So I'm going to go off on like I know I take a little while to get to the point when I explain things.
Oh, here we go, guys.
I'm not going off about
Where's
anything.
my pillow?
No, I'm not going off about anything. This movie on a monster movie level is fun. I liked it.
Monster? This not for a monster movie?
Yeah, like no, not like Godzilla, not like that.
okay.
But I'm talking about the whole like turn on at 2 a.m. You found like a sci-fi thing, and you're like, oh, this is better than all the other ones.
Oh, okay.
But
yes.
like, because I watched a lot of those growing up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like the effects in this are bad or anything. They're absolutely not. But what this movie also wants to be, it wants to be like in terms of what's the theme here in this movie? It's very obvious. It's super on the nose.
Trauma.
Generational trauma. And
My
Erwin
favorite.
loves
I love
this
that
shit.
stuff, guys.
Yeah.
I love when just trauma keeps coming back and torturing others.
It's a cycle, isn't it?
It always cycle, and you never recycle.
Yeah. I mean, no, technically no, because like Blumhouse does like to recycle a lot of their ideas for sure. But
Blumhouse is always a hit or miss.
they are incredibly hit or miss. This movie itself is hit or miss, I think.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it overall, but its ambitions are way too big for itself, considering not even budget. I just think the way it's written, we'll get into all of that. I want to explain because I think that it goes for something. I get the metaphor they're making. It's a cool metaphor. It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
All of the execution is all over the place. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes a scene immediately after doesn't. And
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's beautifully shot.
it looks
I guess
incredible.
We can talk about
Yeah.
like the positives then.
Okay, let's start off with our positives.
Yes.
What did you like about this specifically?
So what I liked about this movie, I liked the fact that it was about wolves.
Yeah, no, wolves are awesome. I want you guys
we
to
like
see
wolves.
that. Yeah, they're
As you
pretty
can
cool.
tell, we're both wolves.
Yeah,
Sigma wolves.
that was the whole point of this movie.
The
Hey,
Tux guy.
they were literally stopping him from going Sigma mode the entire time. Yeah,
that's so true.
yeah, and then his dad is like, "I can't believe
you can't go Sigma mode on me."
It's like, whenever at the beginning he's like disrespects his dad and walks off on his own, and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what
That's
you
what
do.
a Sigma does.
No, exactly. But anyway, what did you like about this?
I mean, I thought this movie was beautifully shot.
Yeah.
I was like, for sure, it's one of its strengths in this movie. And I think everybody, in terms of like acting wise, did a great job.
The only person I would argue a little bit on that, and I have only seen like 2 seasons of Ozark. If you guys haven't noticed, I start shows and then kind of forget that I'm watching them. But
Oh, really?
yeah, well, because that one was, I was like,
Do you
this
watch
is-
One Piece?
I do watch One Piece, but that one, you know, I do. But that
Okay,
one,
I'm just asking a question. The audience may not know.
that's true. No, but that with this, I remember Julia Garner being great in it. In here, I feel like she's not really given a lot to do, but she also turns into the lead after a while.
See,
so
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think I also like the fact that how like the way they transitioned and you felt like the leads were changing too.
Yeah.
Was whenever I guess you're seeing like the other main guy, what's his name? Christopher Abbott.
Yeah.
When he's like experiencing the changes.
Yeah. No, and
that was cool. I like the fact that whenever it would transition, it felt like you were transitioning to. Now you're following a different person.
No, there is one moment in this movie I think is brilliant, actually, and it's when they show that that's happening.
Yes.
That you're kind of following his perspective, I would say, for, like, within the segment I'm talking about, like, 20 minutes, and you're watching him, like, go back and forth and, like, wall everything up in the house, and then he's talking, but then you notice, like, slowly that his family starts to not really respond back to him up until he's like looking at them and they're just staring at him for such a long time, and you don't know that until she walks down the stairs and she's like, my husband can't speak, something must be wrong with him, and then it's the reveal of like what his face looks like at that point, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's amazing. I was like, that is incredibly well done. And I also have to agree with how this is shot as well. Leigh Whannell, I also want to get something out here. I love Leigh Whannell. I love James Wan. They are incredibly inspirational to me. They're the guys who started all the Saw stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did that. What about Insidious? Right?
That too, yeah. Invisible Man. This movie, unfairly, I know it sucks whenever a movie comes out and it has to be in the shadow of its predecessor, and this is technically the reformed Dark Universe after the whole like
the mummy
thing.
Yeah.
I much prefer that they just, like, Blumhouse makes Invisible Man and Wolf Man and stuff like this over that mummy Tom Cruise thing.
I did not see that. Did you see it?
I've seen it, yeah. It is bad. That's why, like, this I enjoyed enough, but... And, like, it sounds so backhanded, but for a January horror movie, it could have been a lot worse.
That's true. I don't know. Yeah. For this movie, too, for when it came to a horror type movie, it didn't feel like there was a lot of elements that were scary to begin with.
Yeah.
I know that there was definitely some moments, but overall, it definitely felt more like an adventure.
Body horror kind of places itself into horror specifically because it is about the loss of like bodily function, essentially, which is the thing I've talked about.
That was the main thing from this movie.
Yeah, and I've talked about that in our substance review. That's the thing that freaks me out the most. But so when I say that I didn't find I found it gross and like in an effective way, I didn't find it scary.
I think it's because like it would turn away from when those body horror were, or like those moments were changing. Yeah. So when he was actually experiencing those moments, we actually didn't get enough time to actually sit with the main character to begin with. Yeah. Too, and we were just hurrying up because for a while it definitely felt like a slow burn. Like this whole movie felt like a slow burn.
Cool, you know, but
which is fine. But at the end, it's weird because the moments where it started to feel like this movie's picking up.
Yeah, it ended.
And you're like, okay, and it just continued on to the next scene right away.
Yeah. No, whenever the two werewolves show up, I was like, yes. I was
like, they're gonna fight.
And then they did.
Yeah.
Sorta.
We didn't really see.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like because both of us, like vampires and werewolves. It's so cool.
Yeah, we love Van Helsing.
I haven't seen it in forever, but I know that you love it, and
it's a guilty pleasure. It's not great,
but the thing is, like, I'm so easy on monster movies. If you show me one that is halfway like cheesy, or like even it's not good, I'll still be a fan of it. Like I like this, but this one's ambitions are. I unfortunately have to judge it based off of what it wanted to do.
Yeah, what it wanted to do.
And I went into
How long was this movie?
Like an hour 43, I think.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way.
It was weird because it was like one of those things where I'm like, it's paced well until it's kind of not. And then you're just like, wait, this is the end of the movie because we have the whole check being brought out. I was like, he's not even fully a werewolf yet.
Yeah, he's not a werewolf yet. What's happening?
And then it's like already more than halfway through. Yeah. But before like... We kind of got ahead of ourselves on the negatives there. Yeah. I want to talk about how this is shot go back to that because it's super creative. I don't know if you noticed any particular segments that stood out to you in this, but a couple for me were at the very beginning. I thought this was so effective where, yes, it's the dad that's like holed up in the... Reminds me, I think one of our friends is going to turn out like that guy when he's older. But...
Wait, which one?
Jack.
Yeah, I can see that.
But...
Traumatizing his son?
Yeah, he's like, get out of there.
Get out of there.
How'd that guy even have a kid?
Son,
but...
sex? Whoa! That happened?
Did he do it doggy style? But like...
Hey, that was kind of good. No, what did you say earlier? Oh no, I'm thinking about the pants. Never mind.
No, different thing. But thing. No.
Oh.
When they're in the... I think they call them deer blinders. I don't know a lot about hunting. I don't do it. But
we're doing it right now.
Yeah. But the breath coming up from like whenever it's... And then like you just see it and then it's from a different place. And then to get the scare to be effective, you never actually see it. Then it goes behind them.
Yes.
And I was like, that's awesome. And then like they limit it to only the scope. You can only see whatever's in their perspective in that scene.
Yeah.
That's why... I mean, the guys like Leigh Whannell who made Invisible Man. You haven't seen it?
No, yet.
It's unfortunately incredible because now that's why I know what this man's capable of. And there's a lot of clever imagery in that one with... It's basically the perspective of him being invisible, but you don't know he's there, but you know he's there because the camera's placed a certain way to be like an observer, and it freaks you out internally because you're like, I'm just watching this person go about doing their thing. So here, the gimmick, or I don't want to call it a gimmick because that sounds like a negative, this is a positive, the creative choice that is wholly unique to this movie, I haven't seen it done really anywhere else, is the deterioration of his like mental stability.
Oh, and yes.
Whenever he like turns into the sort of like the Peanuts want thing with like his family, you can see
That's a good description.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
But that's exactly what it sounded like. But that's exactly what it sounded like. And the scare, there's one that's awesome in a barn where you see his perspective. And then it turns around to go into Julia Garner's, and you know he's there, but she doesn't know. And so, I've never seen a movie do that, where they lose their sense of self, but they put you in that. And I thought that was really cool. There's not much payoff with it, but like... Yeah,
I'm trying to think what other positives that I could... I guess whatever they were focusing on the body horror, too. Yeah. And the moments where he was changing, I did enjoy all that. And I want to say that I wish it lasts longer too.
No, because I'm sure like it might be a budget thing. Yes. But I think it's interesting. This is produced by...
I did like the fact though it was in one location. I'm not gonna... Like that was great. Because it definitely felt like you got to see more of how maybe he grew up. Yeah. Too, and you just saw more of his character, like how his character has grown from that over the years.
See, I want to talk about the thing that I enjoyed about this movie, but even with that, because unfortunately this is one of those movies where I liked it overall, but I feel like my negatives are so long, but I don't want to sound like I'm dogging on it for like too long.
Dude, that was the second time you said dogging. Doggy style.
Yeah. You just said it.
Raw dog.
But
okay, now I'm just saying things.
Yeah, now you're just saying things with dog in the title. But with this, though, I wish they would have used more of, like, his house to show, like, him growing up. Because he even sees something on the wall that, like, triggers some memory in his head at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I can see this movie having an extended cut or... Yeah. Like, I don't know, like an unfinished cut or something.
Just, like, something longer. I don't know if it was one of those things where... While in the moment, this is one of those movies where I was having a ton of fun watching it, but unfortunately it's one of those ones where if you think about it, you're kind of like, well, damn, they should have done this, and they should have done this. And that's just the unfortunate reality of some stuff like this, where horror movies, sometimes people make some dumb choices. And I don't know if you felt like that at any point, but like I had a point where I threw my hands up, specifically whenever their whole moral mission is like, save the daughter, keep the daughter safe. Yeah. But there's a point where Julia Garner straight up walks away from her, and I was like...
Yeah, anytime they would leave the daughter alone, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
And you're just, and then like or whenever they know something's wrong with him.
Also, I wish they spent more time with Julia Gardner though too. Yeah. All right, let's get to the negatives because
we like this, but we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on.
Oh wait, one more positive for me.
Yeah,
but it's gonna tie into a problem I had.
Yeah,
I like what this movie's metaphor was trying to be. Mm-hmm. It didn't work, but
guys, don't do doggy style. Just be generic.
I don't know if I know
about that.
But with this though, like I get it. Like the whole thing about I've seen it a million times now. Like it is it's kind of funny. A horror theme is a cliche now, which is like whatever. It's all about how you do it, right?
Yes, how it's executed. Yes.
Moving into our negatives, what were you gonna say?
With Julia Gardner's character, because the moment it was shifted towards her, I really wish we had time to actually care about her character, because all we got from her was just the fact that she wasn't really there for her daughter.
Yeah.
And that she doesn't seem like she was like a good mom to begin with.
No, so I was kind of confused by that at the beginning. Not confused in like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. But it was more so she's just like, there was a scene, it felt like they were going to set something up whenever she initially walks into the apartment, and then he's like, can you please take that in the other room? And then he repeats himself louder, but she ignores him.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to like, I don't know, like get
angry like the dad.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
But then it felt either like, because I know how movies like work. It's not like they forget to shoot something. Mm-hmm. I was just sort of like, is that happened, right? That was obviously set up. That was written that way. It was just really like confusing to me. And with Julia Garner's character, I didn't really feel like she liked her husband that much either.
But I know they casually mentioned the fact that they were losing a bit of that steam, that spark, too, and that's why they wanted to go out.
You like how he literally showed up to his job. It's like, we're not in a good place right now.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
And she's like, we haven't done this in forever. And he's like, yeah, I'm not happy.
Like, let's go see my dad.
That was just such a strange, like, I don't know. I mean...
I think the obvious one, too, where the dad was just... Like, dad was deceased but couldn't find the body.
Dude.
And you're like, what?
No, that's
like,
why...
Right.
Okay, like, so, like, a movie like Writing 101, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me guess. He's the werewolf. Like, they didn't even have to show the whole, like, tattoo thing at the beginning. You're just like, that's him. It's him. Like... And I get it, but the other issue I had was, if we're going to make this about what it's supposed to be about the cycle of trauma, passing it on to your family and to your son, your daughter, can you, like I told you before we started recording, I don't necessarily, like, no, I'm not like, yeah, beat the kids on screen. Like, it's more like, I need to see some evidence, though, like, that he had something happen to him that was scarring.
Like, even if they were just not going to show it, like, talk more about it.
Yeah.
Like, what exactly has the dad done? Because to me, so far, it just looked like the dad was just trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Because he knew that there was something out there. Because the way that he was talking to his friend over the radio.
Oh, yeah.
To say, like, it's out here, you need to come out here and, like, watch this. But we didn't really see much, like, what else him, the dad, like, has done to the son besides just protecting him.
It was just a lot of, like, I'm gonna get angry because you walked off the path, and I thought, I get it. That place looks dangerous. It's dangerous to, like, hunt in places. So it just read like, I don't know, a strict dad that wanted him to follow the rules. But then my least favorite thing that happens when there's stuff like this is a whole lot of explaining and not a lot of showing me.
Oh,
and it directly happens,
especially for a movie that this length.
Yeah.
Too.
Because, like, Blumhouse, A24, all of these, and I know that A24's distribution, but come on, they have a style, just admit it. But, like...
Damn.
But Blumhouse as well.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and just do the, like, show me some abstract visual. Show me, like, I don't know, an aftermath of something.
Yeah.
Instead of him walking in, and then he's like, my father has been declared dead, and then they were like, we know this has been a long time coming, and then...
That definitely sounds like Sony writers.
Oh, yeah, whatever. No, that one would have been... They would have, like, hinted at the wolf or something, but never would have shown up.
He was really hairy on this one.
Yeah, and then they were like, something was off about him, and he had a real love for wolves.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I'm the foreigner.
I won't lie to you, because of that movie, I was apprehensive about his performance in this, but he's good in this. Yeah. He's really, really good in this, actually.
Yeah, all the actors they did a good job.
Yeah. I just think that Julia Garner's character was played weird. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
I think just because it just the moment just transitioned, you're trying to follow her, and you're like, why would I follow you? I have no empathy towards you just yet.
No, that was a whole other issue with this, was following the characters we follow. I liked the relationship between the dad and the daughter.
Oh, yeah, that was strong.
It's like the best part of the movie.
I definitely like the fact that they were communicating, like seeing, like, she already knew what he was thinking.
Yeah.
And she was able to, like, say the things, especially whenever he was going through that transitioning too. And I guess he was in that state of, like, losing his senses, and it was like different senses, and the daughter was still able to communicate with him.
No, that's why
that was strong.
There's this one thing that actually does have payoff, and it's whenever they're saying the thing back and forth to each other, and then finally, if this were a better movie, this would have been heartbreaking. Like whenever she says it one final time, and then like he just can't understand what it is she's saying. In an even better movie, that would have been like, you know how people talk about, like, what's your favorite scene of the year from, like, a movie or something? In a better one, the execution of that would have been, like, insane. Instead, I'm like, well, finally, like, this is one of the best moments of the movie.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's so hampered down by random stuff in it. And asking you this, because you haven't even really talked about it, because I know how you feel about it.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of the werewolf design in this movie?
I didn't like it.
No, like
I
not
didn't
at
really.
all.
No, I was trying to like it the first time saying it, and I was like, okay, I understand what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
But overall, I just did not like the design of the change of the werewolf. I think the lack of hair for a werewolf being so hairy just threw me off.
No, see, but even something like Prisoner of Azkaban, where he's hairless, that's like a great design, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, even then, it's like it already has such a like unique sense of like what a werewolf. I guess I don't know what a werewolf's supposed to look like.
Well, I don't know either. There's so many different takes on
as a wolf man.
Yeah,
as a man right here that likes to look at hairy men, right?
As an alpha male.
As an alpha male that likes to look at other hairy alpha males.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like to think that there'd be more hair on this wolf.
No, that was one of the other things. Was
and the way that its mouth moved, like I don't know.
I thought the jaw thing was cool when he like had to pop it. Yeah.
But I don't know. It just did not look good to me.
I get what they were going for. Yeah. Where it's supposed to be homaging the original Universal monster movies. They were going for that original Wolfman design where he looked way more man and he had a whole lot of hair around him, and that was it basically. I didn't mind this. I also had it spoiled for me early though.
Yeah. How did you get spoiled from it?
Because I saw a picture. I was like, "What's this?" And then I was like, "Oh, is this the?"
I did not get spoiled whatsoever.
Because I even thought this trailer, when I kept seeing it, I was like, is this showing too much? I didn't think so.
I didn't think it was showing much.
Yeah. But the movie's pretty straightforward. There's nothing like, there's no twist. There's no,
not really.
Unless you want to count the father thing, which, come on, you see it coming a mile away.
Especially with the lack of cast.
Yeah, there's like 6 people in this. Like, who could it be? That one guy that's at the beginning that acts super strange.
Which one?
The one that they get in the car and kill and then don't acknowledge.
Oh, yeah. I was like, you're my, like, the friend's, like, son or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and then they're like, he's weird. Don't let him in the car. And I was like, really, nothing is wrong with him. I mean, like, I get why she's so freaked out, but I don't know. That character, Julia Garner, kind of, like, instantly got on my nerves.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain.
Well, in the beginning, yeah. It's just, like, you just didn't know, and all she did was complain. That's all you saw from her.
No, so I ran into a real sympathy problem with her because I was just like, if Christopher Abbott were the like protagonist, but also somehow like, I don't know, like he couldn't play both roles.
No.
But
he plays himself.
But he's like, I married my twin. That's a whole different movie.
Oh, ew, dude! I married my twin.
I watched that. But no, with this, I don't know. I just I couldn't get behind her because I don't know why she played her character the way she did. Yeah. And it seemed more like anything that she was worried about the daughter because of the relationship with her dad. Yeah. More than her own. And if they would have explored that more, that could have been something as well, I think. But then, no, this movie ends with like that weird ass shot where I'm like, what are they about to do? Go walk out into Oregon for like... Oh, yeah. That made no sense to me. But there's one... No, I didn't mind the design. Like, if I'm going to address any of that. Yeah. I understood what they were going for as well. Yeah. Like I said, it's obviously, like I said, the homage to the old school thing. I liked the design for his dad more. That seemed more... Like, seemed more like a werewolf to me, so it made me wonder if this is just the transitional stuff. Yeah. But
I guess if anything, I wish they should have just stayed with the perspective of the main character of him transitioning to a wolf, and you just see him as the wolf the entire time.
That's ambitious. That's cool. Like
that would have been great to see, because then all you get off with the other characters, like with the mom and the daughter, is just how they're reacting. Yeah. And of course, like us as humans, like, we would just put ourselves into that situation.
Yeah, you're like, what would I do?
How would I react? It's like, I probably react to what they're doing, and then, of course, we may not know what they're saying, which is also fine. Yeah. Because, at the end, we just put our own words into it.
No, but if they did something along the lines of, like, in a violent nature, which I didn't love, but, like, kept to that perspective until it didn't, if they would have done the same thing here... I feel like that could have been something, especially like if you see him start to... I never got the sense that this guy was ever threatening because they made him so sympathetic. I had the opposite problem than with Julia Garner, because whenever they bring him into the house, I'm like, something's clearly wrong with him, but I'm like, this is just a guy.
Yeah, it's just like, a guy so far.
And there was even a moment where, like, he's more than halfway wolf at this point. But he's, like, walking like a regular guy, pretty much. And I was just sort of like, I'm kind of confused as to what it is we're supposed to be feeling about him.
Yeah, well, especially when the daughter was able to still communicate with the dad. Yeah. When it looked like he was finally, fully transitioning into the wolf. Yeah. That, even then, I was still assuming the fact that, oh, well, maybe he's still fine. Like, he's not going to hurt them.
No, whenever in the morning they were like, oh, we'll take him home. I was like, he seems like he could function.
It just looks like a dog at this point.
Don't they turn into humans again eventually? It's just a once-a-month problem, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm like, what's the lore here? I'm like, who cares?
No, that was the other thing. Like, I understand, like, werewolf lore, vampire lore changes, like, movie to movie. Mm-hmm. But if we're going to be talking about how... the lore works here because they bring it up at the beginning. Can you tell me?
Yeah, that's true. Like you just have to read a whole paragraph to understand what was
You're happening. Like, oh, great reading.
Reading? Where the heck? No subtitles.
Where are the pictures?
It's the movie. It's a movie.
Like, oh yeah, it's 24 pictures a second actually.
Where are the pictures? It's a movie guy.
No, but here's what's so frustrating. This movie had the thing that we both complain about the most. It's not bad. It's not even okay. It had a lot of potential to be amazing. Yeah. And all the ideas are there. It's shot incredibly, but it just doesn't live up to much, and it's good. And like that's actually kind of annoying. Especially when you know this director's other work.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you have anything else that you have a negative about?
No, this movie was short, I guess, too.
It was pretty short, too, as well.
So there wasn't really much for me to even go off of, too. Yeah. Because I think a lot of its ideas were very simple, and they execute the ideas. Yeah. And I guess I wish it was more ambitious, as you said. Yeah. Too, so.
Because the camera work is creative. Yes. It's so creative. I love this thing where every time he starts to get out of it, it's kind of a inversion. A lot of movies do this like type of camera trick now where the character falls along with the person.
Oh, yes.
This one, it almost does it, but it'll kind of like tease you a little bit and then like waver and then start to shake a bit and then he falls and then it falls all the way. I thought that was great. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. This movie also implemented some of their old tricks they used from Saw, where I don't know if you know this is like, because like you don't like those movies as much as I do, but the camera loves to like 360 spin out of nowhere. They do that in Saw a lot. Yeah. And here the technology is obviously updated, because in that you'd be like, they obviously sped it up like super choppy. Yeah. And here you can tell that they're like, both him and James Wan have absolutely refined their craft for sure.
Oh yeah, it's been over like 10 years.
Yeah, I'll say I don't have any issues with the directorial style of this because it is very well done.
Yeah,
but yeah, overall, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, this movie's okay.
I was thinking about it. I was like, if somebody were to walk up to me and ask me, would you recommend that I watch Wolf Man? I would say...
Watch it at home?
That's yeah, probably. And I don't ever really recommend the theater experience. No. Like, I recommend the theater experience always.
Yeah.
But I need to also remember, you guys spend like $15 on a movie ticket all the time.
That's true.
And is this worth $15? I don't know.
I was also telling you the fact that maybe if it wasn't called Wolf Man, it was called Monster Man.
It's just a generic monster thing. Yeah, the werewolf, like...
It could have been anything.
Whenever he finally howled, I was like, finally.
Yeah, that was awesome.
There was no howling.
When he gnawed off his leg.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Okay, well, like, one more positive from me. I love body horror, actually, even though it freaks me out. The prosthetics, amazing.
Yeah.
The freakiest part of this movie.
They said that everything about the wolf was prosthetics. Like, nothing was CGI or anything.
See, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because you can feel that sort of energy there. Mm-hmm. I think actors have something to, like, play off of that's real, you know?
Yeah.
And my favorite, I think, thing that happened was either the thing when they unwrapped the arm and it was all or when all the fingernails came out and then like more came out. But I don't know if it's because we recently saw a body horror movie that was incredible and showed you everything with the substance.
Something else.
That's kind of why I was like, it's unfair to compare.
That movie was also over 2
and a half hours long. Yeah. It's unfair to compare because then you're also kind of like, hey, you're kind of like, okay, well, I want to see more of the thing.
Yeah.
But like you said, they just cut away from it.
Basically.
But overall, what's your score?
3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I was going to give it a 4, but then I kept thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like that movie as much as I wanted it to be.
4 stars is great.
Yeah.
We were excited to talk about it, and I wasn't in denial. I don't think this movie's bad. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad either.
Yeah.
It's definitely a movie worth watching when, like, you're just flipping through channels and this is about to come up.
Guaranteed, this is with his Blumhouse. It's going to be put on, like, Netflix or something in the next few months even. But I'm also giving this a 3.5 out of 5. I wish that it was also more ambitious. But what did you guys think of Wolfman? Some people didn't like it.
Ow!
Like, they liked it a lot less than we did.
You do it with me?
Do it.
Ow! You're not going to do it with me.
No, I don't think so.
You suck, dude.
But what's up next?
Ow! I don't know. It's just one of them days.
One of them days. I'm really excited to talk about that, actually.
Me too. I'm excited.
We were originally not going to review it, but we were like, you know, I'm sure there's going to be enough to talk about. And offhand,
that and it's like the fact that the Oscars are being pushed back
that as well. I think the nominations are tomorrow. Yeah. But offhandedly, just one second to say this because I'm not going to review it. Den of Thieves 2 is great. I recommend it. But
that's not what you told me. He's lying.
That's what I said.
He's lying.
But thank you guys so much for listening and watching. What are they going to do?
They're a like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. What did you guys think of Wolfman? Leave a comment. We're going to start doing our comment shout-outs. We've done a few, but I wanted to stack some up so we could have some to
keep
shout
commenting,
out.
guys.
So please do. We've gotten some great responses on our Squid Game one. I love reading them. We read them all. I assume you do too.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, some of them have been really, really well thought out. But thank you guys so much for listening and watching again. We will see you next time.